Hey everyone, I'm Jamie and I hope you're having a fierce day. Today I'm feeling sick. I was tested and it's just a common cold, which is good, but because of that we're just going to do a really low-key video. Today we're going to be making in The Sims 4 with no CC the buildings from UA, Class 1A from My Hero Academia or Boku no Hero Academia. We don't know Class 1B's storms yet, but yeah, we'll start with there and I'll record it, I'll do a voiceover, so I hope you guys enjoy. So first I started with a very basic room that we got during the room tour episode. I have to figure out how big the room is, and to do that I'm using pieces of furniture to gauge the size. In Achako's room she has a TV, so I'm also adding that in. Now that we have that together, I'm just building walls. In the diagram of each room, they look pretty rectangular. During editing, I actually remembered that they also are supposed to have a fridge in each room, but you guys can add that if you want. I think it's more realistic without the fridge since I didn't see it anywhere in the room tours. Now we're adding the light. It seems like there's just a big round light, and the flooring is very basic. For the walls, I picked this one because it looked the most like it. Of course, we can't get a perfect match because we're using no CC. And for the doors, for the most part, they're covered up, but I did see an exterior shot of the building, and they each get a balcony. For the AC unit above each door, this was such a pain because I had to figure out how to make it look right. There isn't really an AC unit in the game, so I just picked out pieces I thought might work. Eventually, I settled on using a bunch of different sign pieces as well as a parking stone thing. Unfortunately, I later found out that since a lot of the pieces I put in are not directly connected to the walls, they weren't copied when I copied the room each time, and I didn't go into each room and add the little pieces. I felt like that would be way too meticulous. So now we're deleting all the extra pieces. Now we're going to go in and update the door. This is the only shot I could find of the other side of the room where you can see that it has a closet and a door for the bathroom. To make this door, I doubled it. We're also adding the bathroom door and I'm adding a little light in there. Again, changing the proportions a bit. I felt like it was too big. There we have it. We can try copying it over. It looks really nice. Now I'm going to get the general size of everything. It looks like it's 5 by 8. So in this picture from the manga, they also show it in the anime. There's 8 students to each floor. One wing is for boys, one wing is for girls, and they're separated by a wall. I also think it's really funny that on Minetta's floor, there's no girls. A weird thing about this illustration is it doesn't really leave room for the elevators or a staircase that is a necessity in buildings. First, I made the hallway. In the center, there's a courtyard. It's really narrow. I think I might have made it too small. I was going off of the drawing. So now that we have the first floor, I'm going to start adding the rooms on the second floor. This process was pretty easy, just cut and paste. I took the balcony as well. This is when I discovered that the AC unit pieces didn't copy over. I was wondering if they were connected to the balcony room, but they were not. Now we're adding lights, and we don't have a glimpse of the bathrooms in each of the dorm rooms, but I'm guessing that they're pretty simple. I tried to make everything as simple as possible, but still stay in the style of everything. I gave them a hamper just in case you do have the laundry day expansion pack. Don't clothes all over the floor. And for the light, I don't know why I did this. I just like customizing stuff. Okay, so I just added these little squares to it. There is no reason for this. I just thought that it might look cool. So now we have the bathroom, and I'm going to copy it over and close the gap so that we get the closet. Now I am just going to duplicate it on the other side but flip it. This is really tedious, so I'm just going to skip this part. And here we have 8 dorm rooms. Now we have to close off the gap, separating the boys from the girls. I ended up changing the courtyard to make it a little bit longer. So here I wanted to add elevators. You could do this in The Sims 3. I didn't realize that you couldn't in The Sims 4. I spent a long time on this, and then I eventually just ended up Googling it. Apparently the elevators are not actually functional. They are just basically portals, and I don't know how they work. In order to get the look of it, I just added the 2x2 squares. For this case, I'm just gonna add a stairwell. This was really hard. I also didn't know where to put it. They don't really have it laid out in the show. I know this is like a superhero universe, but I still feel like stairs are necessary, especially if somebody's too big. I mean, there's different quirks, so how do you know? Now we're going to go 1 floor up and just copy everything over. And now we start to separate to make that iconic U shape. It did end up looking like a really fat U, but I just tried to copy the proportions. I don't know why this was so difficult. So the stairwells was definitely a pain, but we got over it. On the next floor, sadly, here I discovered you can't have 5 floors. It's so sad because the UA building is 5 floors, and I didn't realize this. I really should plan things out, but for this reason, we're only doing 4 floors. I mean, I guess this was good in the long run because my computer already started running really slowly. I also raised it up because the actual image is on a foundation and they have stairs going out onto the front. So the platform does go around the whole building. I ended up not putting it in the back. I'm not sure if it actually goes around the back. So in the anime, you can see there's several shots of the building. There are big stairs. So I added the 2 double doors. I'm adding columns here. They do look Ionic, but the only column that I could find that was really fitting was Corinthian. I don't think most people care though. So something very weird is that the building in the manga and the building in the anime are different, starkingly so. The building in the manga is flat, and the one in the anime is very dimensional. I'm not sure why. Maybe they did this to be more architecturally accurate. I'm not sure. So I tried to make a happy medium in between the two. Next, I added the overhang. I also added this molding around everything. This is the closest brick I could find. The actual balconies are white. These arched windows are the only ones I could find that really matched the size and the shape. I did end up changing the weird architectural details to be a little bit longer. I added the center that is supposed to hold the UA sign. And to do this, I made a room so that I was able to add sort of an archway. So here there are 2 big columns that reach all the way up to the roof. And here you can see just how fat everything is. I really should have made the courtyard a bit wider. This building was mainly to get the inside as accurate as possible, and because of that, I think I had to make quite a few sacrifices on the exterior. To get the lines, I had to add these things. They're a little bit thin, but I think they're as good as we could get. I added a second row of windows just because it looked very bare. I don't know what color the balcony floors are, so I made it the same as the blue tile on the first floor. Here I'm just adding a few details. There is a large brick walkway right in front of the building, so I'm adding that as well. Raising it a little bit because I thought that there were too few stairs. And in front of the building there are benches on either side as well as lampposts. And to make the base a little bit rounder, I added these puck lights. This was the closest thing I could find to the 1A sign. For the arch that says Alliance, this is, I guess, the laziest thing I could have done. Here I'm adding the bushes and the trees. Another weird thing is that in the manga, there are 2 big like oak trees almost in front of the building, but in the anime, it's completely clear and just grass. I ended up adding the windows. So here I'm just adding all of the windows. It's really soothing to watch in fast motion. And there are lights all through the halls. This is the closest I could find to the wall. It's perfect, but there's stupid like dinosaurs on it. For the nameplates on each of the rooms, these giant checks work really well, but it's funny because each one of these is $600 or simoleons. So these nameplates are very, very valuable. I sized them down and then added them. I switched up the elevator. When I was making this, I found a picture of the elevator, but for the life of me when I was editing, I could not find this picture, so just take my word for it, I guess. Adding the floor in, this is the closest color I could get. The courtyard is actually open except for the section that says 1A on it, so I took this out and added windows to each of the bottom floors. Now onto the first floor. This was the bane of my existence because in the anime and the manga, they're both so different. The anime has a more dynamic wall, whereas the manga just has a flat wall, and it looks like there's just arches for the elevators and the bathrooms. I know that there are supposed to be showers and laundry on the first floor, so I had to make enough space for that. I tried to find a medium in between the anime and the manga. Let me know if you think I did okay. There's also a courtyard here. They don't really spend time in this in the anime, so I'm not sure how functional it has to be, but I just added doors to it. This is the closest I could find to the color of the walls. In the anime, you can also see that there's this green area of carpet. This is the closest green I could find to it. There's also a blue rug, so I added that in. I actually ended up having to make the green come out a bit further. In order to make the inside look the most correct, I had to drag it out a little bit past the courtyard. The seating area, this is also weird because in the anime, there's only 2 poofs for people to sit on, but in the manga, there's, I think, like 4. I added 2 windows. The dining tables are also to a seat. This was also confusing because in the manga, the first panel where you see everything, there are 4 tables with a total of 16 chairs, but later in the manga, there are what looks to be 6 tables. And then in the anime, there's actually 8 tables, so whatever. There's also a TV, which you can see in both. We never really get an explanation for the opposite side, so I just made it identical. I added the bathroom doors. I ended up changing their location. In the anime, there's a TV here as well. It does not exist in the manga. For the kitchen, this was also really difficult. The only shots that I got of the kitchen were this one. In episode 83, Momo makes tea for everybody. She talks about it for about like 30 seconds, and this is the shot of the kitchen. It lets you know that there's a sink. So my god, this was so hard. I had to do so much research to figure out what this freaking kitchen looked like. And you can see that there's this sort of overhang. I just made this out of cabinets. I also added stoves to either side. Now to the bathrooms, I lit everything up. A lot of this was just guesswork. There is one shot of the bathroom, the boys' bathroom, when they're brushing their teeth in the morning, so I did think that this wall was at least important to recreate. Now that I have the sinks up, we can work on the showers and the toilets. So this, I did have to make a lot of guesswork of everything, but this is sort of what I landed on. I also added laundry because Aizawa did mention that there was laundry. And here you can just see I'm adding a few finishing touches, and it is done. So first floor, second floor, third floor, and fourth floor. The fifth floor, unfortunately, is just a roof because we can't do any better than that, but there you go. I'm really happy with how the interior turned out. The exterior doesn't look that good, but that's the best I could do. I left the rooms empty so that if you want to play with it, you can build your own. I definitely do want to create a version with all of the rooms from the show because they are so different. And maybe even a version where we try to guess what Class 1B's rooms would look like. But for this video, I am just going to post this. It's accessible on the Sims Gallery. For some reason, I tried to upload custom thumbnails, and because of this, the actual lot counts as CC. So if you want to search it, the hashtag jamieisfierce works, but make sure to have the box checked that says include custom content. Otherwise, it won't show up. I'll try to post a version without the thumbnails, but I don't know if you can post the same thing twice. So that concludes the video. I hope all of you are having a really great time, and I'll see you next week, hopefully feeling a lot better. Bye!